What up, what up, what up? YouTube. Your boy Fade Nice Good back with another one. Quarantine edition. How to cut your own hair during the quarantine. This video I'm gonna show you how to do a temple taper. Something simple, easy that you can do at your own home, in your own bathroom. I'm gonna try to break this down as simple as possible for everybody that might wanna cut their own hair because barber's not working. Stay tuned. I'm gonna show you step by step. I'm gonna use like 2 clippers because I know most people have a trimmer and a liner. Show you how to clean yourself up if you just absolutely have to. This is gonna show you how to do it the simple way and the safe way where you won't mess your hair up. That's the goal. So the clippers I'm gonna be using for this video are Wall Magic clips. I actually use these when I'm cutting hair. I'm not sponsored by Wall in no way. If they would like to sponsor me, please feel free to send some clippers. Good clipper right here, adjustable blade, they powerful, they strong. These are what I actually use. Y'all can find these on Amazon. I'll probably put a link on this video to some of these clippers in the description. I'm gonna be using these to do the taper. If you all have wavelength haircuts, I'm gonna explain to you how to cut that as well. You wanna understand the lever. I have a video on my page that breaks down all of these terminologies and all that. I'll attach it somewhere on here, but a quick description. When the lever is open, you're cutting less hair, and when the lever is closed, you're cutting more hair. For this taper, the super basic steps on how to do a taper, if you can remember closed, which is the lever like this, open, which is the lever straight up and down, and then halfway, which is like in between open and closed. If you can remember those 3 steps, we're all gonna be good and we're all gonna get through this together. And then I know most people own a pair of these right here, and it's T-outliners. If you don't own a pair of these, you can order these as well, Amazon, whatever. I also use like the Slimline Pros LI. For the sake of this video, I think I'm just gonna use these 2 clippers, do this whole fade. I also have on my page how to zero gap your clippers. Both of my clippers are zero gapped. I'll put a link somewhere up here on how to zero gap if you want the clippers to cut a little bit sharper. You know, be careful. But these are zero gapped as well as my magic clips. So before you get started, make sure you got a fresh hair wash, shampoo, even 2 times, condition, and don't put any product in your hair. You don't want to have grease in your hair or oils. If you got a beard like myself, shampoo your beard. You always want to have a clean canvas before you get to cutting your hair. For the people who got, you know, lower haircuts, not afros like myself, after you wash your hair, blow dry it, you want to comb your hair out. Depending on the length of your hair, you know, it's going to depend the type of comb you use, a thicker comb or a thinner comb. Comb your hair real good, the same way you brush. Make sure it's all detangled and all that before you get to using your clippers. Also to the wavers or the people with lower haircut, if you're looking to do what your barber does, a lot of people don't know what length guard that their barber uses. They go in and they say wavelength, and then the barber handles the rest. If you know your guard length, if you know that you're a 1 or 2, 1.5, if you know your guard length, you will use that same guard to execute the same length of hair. If you don't know your guard length, you want to go safe versus risky. The safe bet is to start way longer and work your way down. With the magic clips, you have a guard like so. This is a 1 guard. This is typically what a lot of people get for a wavelength cut. But you also have a 1.5 guard, and it goes up from there. I got a video on guard lengths and all that too. I'll attach it somewhere here. The higher the number, the larger the guard, and that means the less hair you're gonna cut off. I would say start much larger and work your way down. If you put a 4 guard on your clippers and it's not cutting any hair, that is okay because you're safe. You're not cutting off too much hair, because if you cut off too much hair, you can't put it back. You gotta commit to that guard length. Wash your hair, comb your hair, wash, blow dry, comb your hair, and then find your guard if you don't know which guard you're going to use. The people who got to actually cut all of this hair, they got a little more risk involved, so just want to make sure they're good. You have with the grain when you're cutting your hair, still talking to the wavers or the people with lower cuts, have with the grain. That means the same way you brush your hair forward, you know, like this, wave, boom. That is with the grain. That's the same way you can cut it. You can cut it just like you're brushing your hair from back to front, Or some people cut their hair against the grain, which is going opposite of the way that you brush your hair. So you'll be going from front to back. The back will be going down to the top instead of top to the bottom. Understand when you're cutting against the grain, which means front to back, you're gonna cut a little lower than you would if you were going with the grain, back to front. So if you go to the shop normally and you say, let me get a 1 all around, they're gonna use the 1 guard like so. And if they go with the grain and that's the length you're used to, and then you take that same 1 guard, but you go against the grain, it's gonna be lower than what you're used to. If you're gonna go against the grain, I would suggest go up 1 guard just to be on the safe side. And if you want it to get lower, then you go down a lower guard. But the reason some people go against the grain is because you get it more even all around, especially if you're inexperienced with cutting hair. So that's something to keep in mind if you want to make sure everything is even. You can go against the grain, but like I said, start with a much higher guard just to be safe. And that applies to different textures too. People with more straight hair, they normally use bigger guards, and people with more curly, coarse, nappy hair like myself, we normally use smaller guards. Straight hair waver, one of those, I would suggest using a bigger guard. Start with like a 3 or a 4, depending on how long y'all been woofing. Start large and then work your way down if you want to go lower. Now we get into the cut. For the waver clients and the people who will be cutting down their hair, you can start now by finding your guard. Like I said, finding your guard length. You're cutting it just like you're brushing it. If these are the clippers and I'm to cut my hair, I'll find my guard, put my guard on. So I will start open with whatever guard you have on there and begin cutting from back to front the same way you brush your hair. You can look at how I'm holding the clippers, back to front. And for your crown, you're going to need another mirror. You'll hold the other mirror and look off of that mirror into the back to find where your crown is, and you're going to cut the same way you brush around your crown. Or if you're going against the grain, you almost don't even have to look when you're going against the grain because it's going to get it even. You know, you just want to go over every spot on your head, and in the back you go down and up, which is against the grain, and it will be very even. People who got afros or long hair like me, we all can begin now. And people who have wavelength or lower hair, cut it first, and then you'll be right here at the step I'm about to show, which is the taper. If you have an adjustable clipper, you have, like I said, open, closed, and halfway. We'll start closed. That's with the lever all the way up. And you're gonna start right under the temple. Make sure the hair is combed out. I'm not pressing super hard. I'm just trying to create a guideline. Notice after I cut a little bit, I comb it. You always want to keep the canvas clear of hair. So you cut it and then comb it. That is the first step. You're making a guideline about a ½ inch thick with the clippers closed. Next step is open. That means the blade is standing straight up and down. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to go about a ½ inch from this new guideline, and that'll be the next step. That is the second guideline. That is the second step. And now you can see that first line that you made. And that's where the halfway comes in. You're going to remove that first line that you made. You're going to have the blade about halfway. Now this part is going to be different for every single person because some people it's easier to get the line out. Some people it's a little more difficult. So you're just going to close that blade up a little bit and you're going to attack that line and just slowly flick at it. And when I'm making these lines, I'm putting the clippers on my head. I'm kind of using the top of the blade and I'm just flicking the hair off. I'm not really pressing hard, I'm not really digging deep. I'm just laying it on the skull and just flicking the hair off. That's literally all you gotta do. Going halfway, like I said, if this is open, I'm just gonna close it up a little bit. I'm just gonna flick off this little line. Closing it up a little more because the line is still there. Closing up a little more. See, the line is pretty much gone, but you just want to keep closing it up until that line is all the way gone. I'm just closing it little by little. I'm barely pushing the lever up. Okay, so that line is gone. It's literally that simple, and that's the step we're going to use for pretty much every guard going forward. Now, for the wavers and the people that's been woofing that are cutting all of their hair down or have already cut their hair down, the next step, getting this to transition seamlessly. If you're a thick hair waver and you're keeping your hair pretty thick, this step is for you. The people who took their hair down with a 1 guard or a 2 guard, this step isn't for you. You basically want to just remove some of this hair that you're about to fade. It's easier when you have less hair on the sides, easier to fade it. You don't want to have a whole bunch of hair clumped up, you know. Let's say you're a 3 guard waver. I would say take that same 3 guard and just remove some of this hair, about a 1/2 inch or an inch. Put that 3 guard on there and go up. Scoop some of that hair out. If that doesn't do anything, put a 2 guard on there, scoop some of that hair out so you can get to fading the next step. So after you've done that, then you'll end up right here with the rest of us for the next step, the 1 guard. Take your 1 guard, put it on your clippers, and like I said, close, open, half. You want to start closed. As you can see, went up about a 1/2 inch, close. Now I'm gonna open it, lever straight up and down. I'm gonna open it, go up another 1/2 inch. I'm gonna close it up some, halfway. Remember, closed, open, half. And I'm just gonna try to remove this line. With the 1 guard, you're not gonna fully remove the line that you just made previously. You just wanna remove as much as you can, and then we'll go to the next step. Remove that line as much as I could, that line that I made with no guard. So now we're done with the 1 guard for now. Next, you have what is called a 1/2 guard. This is in between a 1 and no guard on the clippers. That's how much hair is going to cut. So you'll take your 1/2 guard, it's called a 0.5 or a 1/16, depending on what type of clippers you're using. I know with Andis, if you're using like some Andis Masters, it'll be a 0 guard. Put it on, and that's going to fully remove this line right here. Just working our way up the guard system. I like to start open with the 1/2 guard. This is the one time where we're going to start open because we don't want to cut off too much hair. 1/2 guard, we're going to start open, and we're just going to work our way on down until this line is gone. done. Every time I would comb my hair, I would close the guard up a little bit. So comb, close it up a little bit, comb, close it up. And I kept doing that until I felt that line was completely gone and it looked blended. We're now almost done with the taper. Next, we're gonna go to our 1.5 guard on the wall, our 1.5 guard. I know with Andis, you're using the purple magnetic guards. A lot of them don't come with the 1.5. It goes from 1 to 2. So you will go straight to your 2 guard. But if you do have the 1.5, you can use your 1.5. So now with the 1.5, what I like to do, whether it's long hair or short hair, comb it down, but I like to close the guard and I like to cut some of that hair down with the 1.5 before I fade it. I'm just gonna go about right here and just cut some of this hair down. I do have the clippers closed. So there, you can still see the line is there. We're going to remove that, but I just like to remove some of that weight, some of that bulk before I blend with the 1.5 guard. Again, close open half, but we're not going to dig too much into the hair now that we're working our way up to where it's darker at. We want to be gentle and just slowly removing that hair, slowly flicking it. You're putting it on the skull and you're just flicking it out, you know, like the shape of a C. That's what you're doing, especially with this guard. You don't want to take off too much hair. I'm opening the clippers up now. They're open. Now halfway. That's it for that guard. Now, depending on how long your hair is, this could be your final step. If you took your hair down with a 1, this is probably going to be your final step. If you have longer hair, afro even, you'll go to the next step, the next guard, which is a 2. And then depending on how high you want your taper or how high you take your taper, it's all on you, it's your discretion, it's your haircut. But for most people who took their hair down with a 1, maybe even a 2, this 1.5 guard will be your final step. Like I said, you can close it and you can cut with the grain and it'll blend it out evenly, and then you're ready for the lineup. For a lot of you, if the hair looks good, cool. If you see any lines or any parts that doesn't look faded, you can go back to where you were in that haircut. Like right here, I feel like I fade this a little bit more. So I'll just go to the guard that's 1 under the 1.5. That's what I just used. So I'll go to the 1 guard, I'll open it up. This is just called detail work, just to make sure the blend is all the way there. If you feel it's fine, you don't have to do this. Next, if you're gonna use the 2-guard, if you're gonna blend up even more, I would suggest use the 2-guard, use it open, slowly flick that hair out if you don't feel that it's blended at this point. You put the 2-guard on there, slowly flick it, and then slowly close it to remove the line like we've been doing through all the other videos. Like I said, majority of the people after that 1.5, that should be your last step. And also for people that have beards, I'm gonna show you how to maintain your beard this video too, so just keep watching. And also mustaches too, for those who got facial hair or a mustache, I'm gonna show you how to not mess your mustache up as well. But right now we're gonna get into the lineup. You have wave length hair or lower hair. You wanna comb that line up. What I like to do, depending on how long your hair is, let's say your hair is at a 2-guard, I would put a 1.5 guard on, and I would just knock down the hair that's on the hairline. If you're at a 1.5, I would take a 1 guard and I would just knock down that hair that's on the hairline. So I would go down 1 guard and cut the hairline just so that hair can be laying down. Comb it, make sure it's looking good. Now we all don't wash our hair before it is cut. It shouldn't be difficult for the hair to cut. This is why you're supposed to wash your hair first, not put any product in it so it can be dry, so that when you line it up, it's very simple. The hair is very cooperative. You don't gotta keep going over the same spot. When you're about to line your hair up, like I said earlier, you cannot put the hair back if you cut too much off. So let's not go cutting off too much hair. Let's start natural as possible. And I know a lot of us, our hairlines have fully grown out, so you can't even see what your barber used to do. It's all looking crazy right now. So you wanna envision, before you get to lining up, you wanna envision how you want the line to look. When you're looking in the mirror, you want to be looking, okay, I know I want it to be here, 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 and here. You envision that, and that's where you put the clip. If it doesn't look as crispy as your barber's does, it's most likely because you're not a barber and you don't know what he does to get his hairline super crispy. We're not trying to be barbers, we're just trying to look good, maintain through this quarantine. Let's keep that in mind. I know none of us should want our lines pushed back, so we won't be envisioning that before we start. See where the line is going to be, and that is where you will put your clippers. You'll gently place the clippers on the hairline and slowly just remove it or push to the hairline where you want it to be. Envision where you want it and put the clippers there. If you feel like, oh, I messed up, took too much off, or oh, I messed up, it ain't looking as good, don't try to fix it. You're only gonna make it worse. Trust me, just let it grow back. That's just some food for thought, man. We're gonna get into this hairline. I'm envisioning right now, the line to be about here, natural. This is where the bottom of my hairline is, and normally you do a C shape. So the easiest way is to just use the corner of the blade. I'm just using a corner, and I'm creating a C shape. It's literally that simple. And now you're going to go to the vertical bar. There's 2 ways you can do this. I normally use a hand mirror and I look off the hand mirror. If you don't have a hand mirror, you can use the opposite hand, right? So that you can see better. Just take your time. If you do have a hand mirror, you can use your opposite hand to hold it, and use your strong hand to line this vertical bar. And I am not left-handed, this is my opposite hand. But I know where I want the line, so that's where I'm putting the clip. That's simple. I didn't take off too much hair. My hair has been growing for over a month now, so I haven't had a line up or cut or anything. So vertical bar, C shape, is that simple. For the front, I have a widow's peak and I'm thinning on the side, so I want to keep this as natural as possible. For the sake of this video, I'm going to line up the front. I really didn't want to. I'm going to start in the middle and just work your way out to the vertical bar until they connect. And then for the other side, you do the same thing, start in the middle, and you'll work your way across to the other vertical bar. Everything I did on this side, you're gonna have to do on this side with your weak hand. Just take your time, you'll be able to do it. You wanna comb that hair down. People with longer hair, you wanna comb that hair down in the front, just so you're lining up the very edge or the very natural part of your hairline, not pushing too much back. If you're thinning like how I am, I'm team keep the hairline as natural as possible, don't push back. So if you're thinning like I am, it's okay. You're just gonna make a straight line. I don't wanna cut into the hair that's thinning because it's already thinning. You don't wanna make things worse. Now I get into the beard, how to fade the beard into the taper and line it up, and also your mustache, which is super important. You don't want to mess your mustache up. Most of my clients do not touch their beards. They don't let anyone else touch their beards. I understand. I'm going to show you a foolproof way, a super safe way to maintain your beard if you want to. If you don't want to, don't do it. It's that simple. To fade the beard into the taper, you're going to do the same thing that you did to taper it, but you're just going from top to bottom because we're going to be fading downward. I start open with no guard and I go down about a ½ an inch right here. After blending that out, you're gonna take your 1 guard, same thing, we're gonna start open and work our way up. Next, we're gonna get that ½ guard, just like we did on the taper. ½ guard, start open, and work our way up to remove that line. Next, 1½ guard. Start open, we're gonna go down a little bit lower, and work our way up. Closing it slowly. Pretty much done. I'm gonna go back to the 1 guard and just do some detail work. Just open. Now that's pretty much blended out. For the mustache, depending on how long your mustache is or how short your mustache is, if you like a darker mustache to blend in with the rest of the beard, I say put a 1 guard on there. 1 guard, like so. Close it up and just knock the hair down on your mustache. Next is the lineup. I would start with the mustache first. I like to start at the very top of the mustache and just slowly work the clipper down. If you want it thinner, then you can slowly remove more hair, but just try to keep it as natural as possible so you won't mess it up. Didn't take off too much hair, I just put a line on it, and I'm gonna do the same thing right over the lip. I use the corner of the blade for the corner of the mouth. And then for the top, same thing. Start at the very top and work your way down. I didn't do too much to the mustache. I want to keep it natural. Just want to clean it up so we can get through this quarantine. Top of the beard. Depending on how you want your beard, if you don't want to risk messing it up, I would say leave it alone. You can see where my beard is dark is at is about right here. Now I can follow that line with my clippers and just remove that hair. If you want to keep your beard more full, as high as possible, you can go up here to where all the new growth is. It's really up to you where you prefer to have your beard. Once again, I'm using my opposite hand so I can see if you don't have a hand mirror.
Just push it down.
It's pretty much simple as that. Normally with me, I would use a razor. I like to razor my beard. I don't even use clippers on my beard, but for the sake of this video and to help you all out, that's how you would do it. You do the same thing for the other side. For the back of the beard line, you're gonna need another mirror. I hold one mirror and I look off the other one. And I like to keep it as natural as possible. I'm holding the clippers like so, and I'm just pulling away. Putting it on the line and I'm pulling away. Same for under the beard. Some people get theirs at the jawline. I personally like to leave mine as full as possible, so I'm following just where all the new growth is. Starting in the middle, just like on the hairline. And I'm working my way out. Check with this mirror to see if it's lined up good. Simple as that. You'll do the same thing for the other side. Lastly, we're just gonna do a little shape up on the beard. Again, if you don't feel comfortable, you don't have to do this, but I'm gonna show you a really safe way to do it. Clippers are closed, so you wanna be very careful knowing that the clippers are closed. But what you're gonna do, you just wanna attack the loose hairs. You don't really wanna take any length off, unless that's what you're trying to do. But if you just wanna shape it up and make it look neat, you're just getting the loose hairs.
I'm not taking off much length.
I'm just looking for the hairs that are sticking out that aren't with the rest of the bunch. You want to pick your beard out or comb your beard out, and all those hairs that are loose and don't look like they're with the rest of the beard, you want to clean those up. I normally start at the top of the beard and work my way down on all those loose hairs. So that's how you maintenance your beard, keep it looking neat, line it up. Again, this is not to replace what your barber does. This is that you can look good if you need to for whatever reason. If you want to look good while you're sitting in the house playing 2K, this is how you can do it. So next is the back, and then we're all done. You want to comb your line down. For me, I personally don't taper the back of my hair. My skin just get irritated no matter how I do it. So I stopped tapering the back of my hair a long time ago. If you're going to taper the back, you're going to use the same steps you did to taper the sides. Close, open, half, next guard, close, open, half. You're going to do the same exact steps. You want to keep it as natural as possible. Find your angle in the mirror and put the clippers right on the edge of your line. And then just pull away. It's that simple. And you go all the way up to behind the ear. If you're like me, you got a lot of hair that's grown on your neck during this, just go up and cut that hair off your neck. That's how you taper, cut, manage the beard, all of that. So that's it, man. That's the end of my video, end of my how-to cut your own hair during the quarantine, during the COVID-19. I hope all of y'all are staying safe, social distancing, locking yourselves in the house, man, as much as possible. But if you liked anything about this video, learned anything, if you found it useful, please hit the like button, share video, subscribe to my channel, man. I will really, really appreciate it, like for real. That's it, man. Hopefully I helped y'all out. Hopefully y'all give me some good feedback in the comments saying that you was able to cut your own hair. It came all good. I want to hear all that, man. Give me all the feedback. But thanks for watching, man. I'll be coming up with some more content soon. Peace.